Sitting out here in the Anglers All studio, we are going to talk to you today about peacock bass. Andrew went with a buddy not that long ago and traveled across the globe and went down and chased these largemouth, giant fly crushing beasts. And we thought it was worth getting with you guys kind of in a long form conversation to have him share his experience, talk about what it meant to him, what the excitement is on this trip, and what you need to know to get booked and going on this adventure in 2021?
2021.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let Andrew take it from here. Let's hear about it.
So South America is a place that's always interested me. I've always found myself going more south than any other direction when it comes to adventures and angling around the world. After a couple weeks of debating, we figured we need to go to the jungle. We need to rumble in the jungle. So we booked some flights down to Manaus, Brazil. The interior city made its money and its fame during the rubber boom. A big port city in the Amazon. I was able to spend about a week on the front half of this trip finding adventures through the Amazon, and we found a peacock bass fishery, the Rio Marie, up in the Rio Marie River, which is a tributary to the Rio Negro, which is the second largest tributary to the Amazon. To me, the Amazon has always been, holy smokes, that most interesting part of, one of the most interesting parts of the world. Patagonia, the Himalayas, the Amazon, a region of the world doesn't get a name because it's easy to survive. So we packed our bags and headed south and found our way onto the Amazon. And the cool thing about it is there's such a variety of species. The Missouri and the Mississippi hold 300 species of fish throughout both of those rivers. The Amazon itself holds about 3,000. The Amazon also provides 15% of the fresh water that goes into the ocean comes from the Amazon. So to think about that piece of water, all of the potential, all of the work that comes into making that, and then jumping on a bush plane and firing yourself up along the Colombian border to hang out on a boat with a best friend and chase these humongous trophies. I mean, that was the appeal. And then we started looking at the flies, the tackle, the logistics, and these bad boys came into the picture.
I'm getting excited about this.
We spent 8 days floating around each night, covering about 30 to 60 miles, and just using words like jungle warboss, laser show, 70, 80 pound fluoro tippet straight to your leader. I don't think we lost a single fly. And the goal down there, the holy grail, is the 20 pounders. 15 pound, I mean, these are humongous, just...
This sounds like American Gladiators meets fly fishing. It's sort of right in the middle.
So there was a moment that, the fishing is definitely, it's rewarding.
I'm surprised you didn't come back with like a stick and poke tattoo on your forearm.
I'm surprised I came back. Immediately as soon as I got back, the first question was, would you do it again? Yeah, I would do it over and over again. There's so much potential. Every day you have the opportunity to fish new water. You're on this essentially luxury mothership, moving 30 to 60 miles a night. So as you're eating dinner, the boat is rumbling down the Amazon. There is nobody around.
So you're fishing new water every day.
You're fishing brand new water every day. The jungle scenery is just, I've never seen anything like it. It's about a 3.5 hour bush plane flight where you land in the river and you depart and you just know this is wild. There's nobody. There's no villages that you fly over. You're in the jungle.
So would you say if you enjoy, fishing streamers from a moving boat, targeting banks, is this something that, there's like a little bit of correlation between throwing larger trout streamers at the bank?
Yeah, I would say if you're into throwing humongous streamers and the permit game appeals to you, that elusive, magnificent fish, this is that combination of both. It's just as rewarding as it is technical. You're getting the biggest, most untouched fish in the Amazon.
Let me see. Come on, pull one of these out.
So after we got back, I talked to my buddy and we still talk about this trip, and he goes, probably every single person I bump into on the sidewalk sees this photo. It was day 4, and my buddy and I doubled up. 20 plus pound peacock. As that happened, the indigenous guide stood up and just goes, oh, Giganté. I thought, oh wow, we're into something. We're into something. And you're just ripping these fish. I mean, just giving them the wood of a 9-10 weight. We get this thing to the net, the rod goes down, the hands go up. I mean, you're straight howling in the jungle. And as that happens, my buddy Charlie, we've fished some great places together over the years. He hooks into a 18-pound peacock. So we double down with these just humongous peacock in the front of the boat. And it was basically like a mini mosh pit. We had an indigenous guy screaming Portuguese. We had our world-class fishing guide, Lucas, yelling something. He's from Argentina. Charlie and I just howling at the moon. Somebody came over the top. Hats flew off. These 2 giant peacock were just in the bag. And that's when it was, holy smokes. Whatever the expectations were, whatever we were doing, the high water, there's always an issue. There's always something that comes up in a jungle environment. But this just came together. Everything just perfectly came together to get to that moment. And that was the coolest moment I can honestly say I've ever had in fly fishing. And to share it with a best friend in an experience like that where you're going into the unknown, come on. This is the ultimate off the grid adventure.
So what was, travel getting down there? I mean, it didn't take you obviously all day long to get to South America. That's what, like a 4 or 5 hour flight?
So that was the nice thing about it. That was a huge surprise to us. I've spent some time in South America, and generally you think the flights are 10 and a half, 14 hours. This was a 5-hour flight to Miami for me. And then about 4.5, 5 hours from Miami straight into Manaus. I spent a week in Manaus and stayed downtown. Enjoyed the fish market. I went to the Wedding of the Waters where the Negro meets the Amazon. Just kind of seen all the sights and sounds, and again, that was one of the places where as soon as you leave that hotel, if you don't speak Portuguese, you're on your own. And that's a lot of fun for me. That's the fun aspect. So a very friendly culture down there, and tailored to the adventurous angler that likes to be comfortable. I've done jungle trips where you're in a tent in the jungle with snakes and leopards and things like that. And
Just like,
that's great, trying to punch a cobra as you're going to the bathroom at 2 a.m. But this is a lot more comfortable, and you still got that wildlife experience. There's some of the local guides. It's a jungle. It's an indigenous tribe down there, and these guides are with you. One day we were smoking down the Amazon or the Rio Maria in our skiff to start the morning, and there's pretty solid, probably about a 10, 12 foot, what it looked to be an anaconda swimming down the river. Oh, that's pretty cool. And the boat just goes on its edge, and we have to turn around and smoke in front of the snake. You have to cross the front of a swimming snake for good luck.
I was gonna say, just a luck thing.
We were terrified at the time, but all the waves start crashing up on the bank because we just turned this, 20-foot skiff boat, and he goes, all right, now we fish.
So you're in like kind of traditional flat skiffs type of boat. Talk to me about like the boat, the gear. Obviously we're looking at these huge flies. What do you need to be successful with this?
So we took 8 through 10 weight rods down there, cast all day kind of rods. You don't want an overly stiff rod. You want something with a fast recovering memory, but that nice action to it. Anticipate trout fishing with a 10 weight rod, what that would feel like. So you got to pace yourself throughout the day, especially when it comes to throwing streamers, the size of a face. So we had our 8 weights rigged with floating lines for the hoppers, 9 weights.
For the hoppers,
For
says.
the poppers. 9 weights with a 3-inch per second, then our 10 weights with about a 10-inch per second. I would say primarily we were using those 9 weights, 3-inch per second, get down, hit the banks, and that nice, easy 18 to 20-inch strip with just that enormous tug. Daily, I think the average amount of fish caught were probably 20 to 30 fish. We had some days where you were getting 60 fish.
So It's not a bad day.
But those were in the 3 to 9 pound range. And what you're going for is the Giganté. The 15 pound Stanley Cup, Holy Grail, holy smokes. Let's do backflips and fireworks going kind of
Getting
fish.
me excited.
It was, I can honestly say it was just the coolest trip I've ever been on, straight ahead. The jungle's always intrigued me. Giant streamers I've been into that. And then that reward, that marker that you want when you go float the Colorado or you're on the Pure Marquette or wherever it is that you are in the country or the world. What do you want out of this day? What's your goal? It's that 20-inch trout. It's that 24-inch. How are you going to meet that goal? You got to show up. That's step number one. Step two is leave it all out there. It's definitely a numbers game. Just cast.
I mean, I think the last fish I caught was the other day. We had like 70-degree water in Clear Creek. I think it was about this big. That's how big the fish was. Now, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got some
Look
serious
at this pile.
hardware.
Look at this pile of meat here.
I would say the entire time we were down there, the nice thing was we only lost about one fly. We didn't lose one fly. We didn't lose a single fly the entire week. You're throwing 80-pound fluoro. The way these fish hit is just, it's like a missile. As soon as they hit, they're taking off. They're wrapping around rocks.
Man, shout out to Daryl for all the home ties here. These are awesome looking.
So these were all custom ties by a friend, Daryl Eakins, Nervous Water Flies, and it's definitely a big thought process to put into the casting of the flies to be able to shed water and make that lightweight presentation.
This looks like a Halloween costume, basically.
Basically, it is.
Well, what do you think's kind of the, to somebody who's not sure they're ready for a big adventure like this? What kind of boxes need to be ticked before you get excited about something like this?
We have everything covered here. Definitely a technical fly shop, from brook trout fishing to trophy peacocks, to arapaima, to tarpon. That's our program here at Anglers All. It always has been. I would say double haul is going to be key down there. After that, that's something that can definitely be taught and figured out pretty quickly with the right mindset going into an opportunity like this. The flies, the leaders, the rods, the reels, it all has to work for you. You have to go into this situation extraordinarily comfortable and confident.
This doesn't look like 6-weight territory whatsoever.
This is pretty far out of my comfort realm. It's a new thing. It's an exciting thing with big rewards. I've never thrown a fly like that before. So to see how it presents, throws, and picks up time after time is pretty key.
And at the end of each day, did you get back on the boat and just have a good time chopping it up with the other anglers?
That was the plan all along. You'd come back to cocktail, hors d'oeuvres, wonderful food. And then as the night would start getting lively, I would be asleep at about 7:45 or 8 o'clock from just going all day long out there. It's a sensory overload. It's a great crew that we had down there. There's jacuzzis, there's hot tubs, there's a masseuse on board. You're going to be as comfortable as you possibly can while leaving it all out there.
Appreciate the time. Boom.
Let's do it.
If you guys have questions about the Peacock bass offerings, why don't you spit out real quick what our booking situation is right now?
So we have some really great availability September through December for the coming season for the live aboard. Give us a call. Give me a call. Stop by the shop. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about the fishery location, logistics, gear, flies, what it takes to get down there and have really the trip of a lifetime at a world-class peacock bass fishery.
Sounds amazing. This looks like it would make a 200-pound tarpon run for its life. Oh man! All right, sounds good. Well, like you said, you guys give us a call at the shop. Stop in. Andrew is more than happy to chat and get you fired up as could be for once in a lifetime adventure. I think that phrase gets thrown around a lot, but
It really
clearly this is one of a kind. We're gonna take a look at the rest of these fish he caught, and we'll see you guys next time. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to hear about more fishing adventures, let us know. This is kind of the second video we've done of this style, and ooh.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Man, a red eye on that thing. Right on.
Giganté.
Gigante. Man, you got wood floors in this boat?
Oh yeah, it's pretty luxury.
Wood floors? Are those sconces?
There's jacuzzis. There's a